Over the course of many centuries, many great individuals have espoused their theories on the importance of education. A couple of these quotations are noted here. What we can assume from this is the importance of education, the importance of wisdom, the importance of knowledge. And we've taken this particular kind of an approach and we've used it to model our particular curriculum. The desire of our curriculum is to give you the basic building blocks of what it takes to be a developer, but also teach you how to learn and continue to learn and continue to innovate your skills and your knowledge over the growth of your career. When we analyze the business world of today, there are two underlying principles that we focus in on. One is the concept of innovation, and the other one is productivity. The great business writer Peter Drucker wrote immense volumes about these two principles. When he talked about the concept of productivity, he was looking at the ability to do things in our work environment that we've never been able to do before. When he thought about the basic principles of innovation, he looked at the process of change that has occurred ever since the beginning of the Industrial Revolution. He also has talked about the progress of change and how change tends to escalate essentially over time. So we look at all these things together. We look at the radically different approaches that we're using. And specifically in our aspect, we're thinking about the role of information technologies. And we're also thinking about the role that Java programming plays in the IT integration process. The Java programming language is the #1 programming language in the world, which is why we have made that particular language the centerpiece of our particular curriculum. Information technology has an amazingly impressive track record of innovation and change. Let's take a look at some of these modifications and changes over time. So starting in the 60s and the 70s, there were basically this concept of old legacy applications using a programming language called COBOL. As that ran its particular course, we came up with another tier, which is the client-server application system using C++ Visual Basic. This ran from about the 80s into the 90s. And then starting in the early part of the 90s, we saw the development of what we now know as the Internet, web-based applications, web development using the HTML level language to build web pages and a little bit of JavaScript programming on those particular pages. That then morphed into large-scale e-commerce systems, the things that we look at today that actually allow us to purchase and buy things on the Internet. Here is where Java first started to evolve along with the Microsoft's .NET architecture. And as that grew and as that matured, we saw the development of mobile applications. So starting in 2010, we can see the development of mobile applications. And again, we have your two predominant realms here. We have Apple's iOS system for the iPhone, and then we have all the Android types of devices which happen to also be running Java. Believe it or not, these particular applications then wrap back into accessing legacy applications and client-server applications that were built many years ago. So as this cycle continues to evolve and we add new tiers, we add new layers, they continue to utilize some of the older technologies from the past. Our purpose in this curriculum is to give you that knowledge about the Java programming language that allow you to build these large-scale e-commerce systems that most Fortune 1000 companies are using today. And if you decide you'd like to move into a new territory, then there's the mobile application side of things, and the Java platform is also used in that particular environment as well. When you're considering a new career, there are many different paths that you can follow. So why might somebody choose a career in the information technology business? Well, let me give you a couple of brief rationales why this might be a place for you. First of all, there's the principle of innovation. The IT industry is always evolving. New technologies are coming to the forefront on a continual basis. We see this all the time in our interactions with technology, whether we're talking about the internet and the web environment, or we're talking about new technology devices like the iPhone or mobile applications. These changes are affecting us or affecting society all the time, and at the core of these changes is the information technology business. In addition to that, we have this principle of diversity. There are so many different career paths and roles that you can perform in information technology. This curriculum is only going to be your starting point. It's going to be your kernel of wisdom, your kernel of knowledge that you will begin with. Once you have completed this particular course, then there is a myriad of different realms that you can move into. You can be a software developer, yes, you can have a great career in that, or you can move into the realm of cybersecurity, or you can talk about networking and establishing connections between different computers. You can get into database management and database analysis. You can build and design large-scale systems for managing and organizing information. You can become a business analyst. You can take the requirements of the customer and you can turn them into software systems. You can become an enterprise architect, where you can design large-scale application systems. Or you can do project management, where you are managing the entire process from beginning to end. In addition to that, there's this principle of criticality. When you think about computer systems, you think about the software that companies develop. Once companies become computerized, there is no going back. That becomes the critical center of their particular business. That's how they manage their information. That's how they manage their data. That's how they manage their business. It becomes the critical factor for companies that allow them to continue to have a competitive advantage. Our curriculum, again, is designed to give you that skill set that companies are looking for, so you can plug into this critical nature, this critical part of every business. So you think you might be and like to be a programmer, but do you know if this is the right path for you? Let me give you a couple of things to think about. Number one, when you're thinking about becoming a programmer, you have to look at your desire to be a problem solver. Programming is all about problem resolution. When you're dealing in languages like Java, you are resolving problems using computer software, using programming level languages. If you like to untangle problems, if you like to create solutions, then this might be a good path for you. In addition to that, you need to have an immense sense of curiosity. There's a lot of desire to want to know what's going on underneath and within some of the things that we deal with on a regular basis. If you have that sense of curiosity, you have this desire to understand how things function, how things interact with one another, then this might be a good place for you. Also, you need to look at and think about, do you have this desire to learn? As we've talked about, IT careers are evolving and changing all the time. Technology continues to march forward. You have to keep pace with that level of change if you hope to have a very successful career. So you need to have this eagerness, this desire, this willingness on your own to continue to discover new talents, new skills, and learn new technologies. Are you passionate? Do you have a desire? You are going to be learning so much in this particular 9 weeks. In order to keep pace, you have to have this incredible passion to undertake this particular process. And it's a never-ending scenario. There always is going to be something new, something that you'll need to learn. So if you have this ability to become passionate about things that interest you, then programming could be the place for you. How do you deal with deadlines? There are always going to be deadlines in life, going to be schedules in life. Computer programming and software design is the same. So you're going to be pressed for developing projects and developing work, and sometimes it's going to be a tight deadline. And how do you manage your time when it comes to dealing with a particular deadline? Are you good at time management? You're going to have tremendous levels of independence as a programmer. Nobody's going to be watching over you every moment. They're going to give you a deadline. They're going to let you work on it on your own time. You have the freedom to develop the solution as you see fit, but you have to do that within a prescribed time limit. So management of your time is also going to be important. Working with limited supervision. Programmers tend to work in teams and groups, but a lot of your work is going to be done on your own. A lot of the thought process that goes into formulating your solution to different kinds of problems is going to be done on your own. You will have teams to fall back on from a learning perspective, but a lot of this is going to be done with very limited supervision. And last but not least is, and it seems kind of peculiar, but dealing with failure is a big part of anything, but specifically with programming. It's very rare that your solution will work the very first time. It's probably going to fail. 99% of the time, what you do is not going to work. Then you'll have to be a problem solver from that particular perspective and looking at what went wrong, how did it fail, why did it fail, what can I do to fix that? Again, we go back to this issue of, do you enjoy problem solving? There are many different programming languages out there to choose from, so why might one choose to build a career in Java application programming? Let's look at a couple of facts. Number one, Java is the most popular programming language in the world today. When you look at large organizations, when you look at large corporate enterprises, everybody is developing applications using the Java language. In addition to that, software developers, and in particular Java developers, have historically one of the lowest unemployment rates of any career path out there. Historically, it has been less than 2% of all developers. The salary. So we get down to it. Can I make a living being a Java developer? What kinds of salaries can I expect to receive? Now, this is the median level of salaries for Java developers according to the U.S. Labor Department, and it tends to be right now, as of 2013, 2014, $92,000 per year. Now, as you learn Java, you can then take that skill set, you can move into many of those other areas that we've been discussing, many of those other career roles, and those are going to only increase the salaries you can expect to achieve as you acquire new sets of skills. The Bureau of Labor Statistics projects there's going to be a 22% employment growth over the next 10 years in software development, including the Java programming language. This is an area of the economy that continues to grow and grow and grow. In addition to that, this particular curriculum, what we're designing it around, using our experience of having been developers, in my particular case for many decades, is to give you the skills to develop a lifetime of employment. So allow yourselves to create a pathway that's going to bring you a salary and a career path that you can hold until you decide to retire. So let's talk a little bit about our curriculum and our particular program that we have in mind for this particular boot camp. I decided to represent that visually as a pyramid because, like a pyramid, every layer, every tier is built upon the base. So we're going to build your base knowledge over time. We're going to start with basics of object orientation. We're then going to move into the foundational aspects of what the Java programming language happens to be. Then we're going to move into enterprise development and utilization of application servers. Then we're going to talk about the inclusion of Java frameworks. And finally, we're going to complete this entire process with a large-scale case study. So I decided that the pyramid is the best approach because this is a cumulative course. Every piece builds off of the prior knowledge. So it's going to be an intensive program. You're going to be learning a tremendous amount of information. And every piece is a building block which will take you to the next level. So the objective here is to give you the skill set when you walk out of this particular program to allow you to integrate within a large organization and continue the learning process. This by no means is going to give you the entire requisite skill set that you'll need to be a developer, but it will get you started and it will teach you how to continue to learn on your own. Now it's time to take a little more in-depth perspective on this particular curriculum that we've got designed for you. So the bottom tier is going to be object-oriented basics. So this is essentially going to be a one-day introduction to the concept of object technologies, followed by 4 intensive days of your introduction into the Java programming language. We're making the assumption here you have no prior skill set, you have no prior introduction to any programming languages. So this is your first foray into programming that'll fit in just fine. Once we've completed this particular series, then we'll go to the next tier. The next tier is going to give you the foundational aspects of the Java language itself. So we've got basically 5 days. 2 days is on some intermediate Java level programming components, and then we have 3 days of advanced Java. So these first 2 weeks are going to give you the basics of what the Java language looks like, how you can use the language to solve complex business problems, the role and the concept of what an object happens to be, because Java is an object-oriented level language. This will give you the key core concepts of what the Java language is going to be. Once we've completed this particular period, we're going to go into the next tier. Another 10 days. This is going to be what we call the enterprise level, the Java Enterprise Edition, the JEE version. So we have 2 weeks here dealing with the creation of enterprise-based applications. When we look at the role that the internet happens to be and the way we can utilize it as to perform transactional processing to purchase different items, this is the realm in the Java curriculum where we're going to be talking about those particular key components. We're going to be talking about databases, the ability to access databases, the ability to bring information to the web and display it on a screen. Once we've completed this particular tool, then we're going to get into the framework pieces that are going to be essential to your integration into corporations. These are the concepts and the skills that corporations are looking for. Basic Java knowledge is not going to be enough for you. So in this particular series, we're going to be talking about some very specific components. Namely, we're going to be talking about the Struts framework, which is a classic way of building and designing Java applications. Then we're going to be looking at the Agile Development Framework. This is when you're working in teams, in a team development scenario. This is the philosophy that we use for application design. The next level up is going to be the concept of service-oriented architecture. This is an evolving process. This concept of SOA, service-oriented architecture, started in the early part of the 2000s. It's becoming a very integral part of large-scale application systems today. And then finally, in this particular series, we're going to be talking about two underlying technologies called Spring and Hibernate, which are evolving philosophies and frameworks that most corporations are using today to build their application systems. So that all is going to take 20 days. That's 4 weeks worth of work. And then finally, the last piece, the capstone of the series, is going to be an enterprise case study. You will actually be giving a real business to interact with, using all of your skills, using all of the Java core components we provided to you. You'll be working with a live business to listen to their needs, their desires, and you're going to be building an application system to solve a particular problem that that particular company has. So you'll be working as close as possible to a real-world environment. You'll be working in groups here. You'll get an aspect of the concept of team approach to development, and you will get an opportunity to work with a live company and deal with them directly. So that's going to be the entire curriculum path that we're going to be dealing with. Once you finish these particular pieces, you will have a complete set of tools that you can then apply to your career path.